To be honest, I completely forgot about this statement in the June monthly report. I'll read it again here. I just pulled it up. Steady progress is currently being made toward dynamic server meshing, which is also crucial for the successful implementation of instancing. I actually had forgotten that and thought that instancing could come without dynamic server meshing. I guess they're not explicitly saying it can't here, but if that is the case, and I think that this is, and if cooperation zones were based around instancing, then I think they should have made this call a lot earlier and just dropped the locations like they did. I think people are still really going to enjoy these locations.
I do. I think people are going to enjoy these. And I like I've said, I say the name cope zones, not because I want to deride CIG or think that these are bad ideas, but it just, CIG's coping if they think players won't shoot each other in these locations.
That's fair, yeah. And that really, I mean, it's only exacerbated by the fact that reputation doesn't freaking do anything, really. We need consequence in this game. Like, badly. We need some real consequence. And I know it's alpha, so it's testing, and they can't hamper the experience too much, so people can't do things that they want to, but it's really starting to hurt, I think, the confidence people have in the idea that this is going to be a game that's peaceful. You know, people are starting to look at this and be like, oh, they've hired all the people from Call of Duty, and now they're insulting salvagers by saying that they're lazy, and all of the developers hate anything but combat, and you can see this from their additions. And it's like, anybody who's been around here long enough knows that the spirit of this game is built around allowing people to choose what they want to do. And we know at some point this game is going to have consequences and things in place to, at the very least, try to separate these gameplay styles. But I think it is really hurting that short-term confidence people have in whether or not this is even the game for them. And not only is CIG not really putting these consequences in right now, in the moment, but they're also not really talking actively about the fact that there will be consequences, or that there are features that are in the pipeline that will help with that kind of stuff. Do you think that they're missing something serious here, or is it over worrying?
You think CIG is missing something serious, or the community?
It's CIG.
I think it's over worry. There is trying to do it in a way that doesn't insult somebody. I always end up doing this, but there is a phenomena that I have seen in gaming. It's not just Star Citizen, happens in gaming a lot, which is, if you're online talking about something, you're not playing it. So the more people who are playing, the less conversations you're going to have around the game. And most of that is going to be little things when people are at work and stuff like that. The things that when they're not playing the game. So the people you have who are often talking or like freaking out about a lot of this stuff, about like, oh, CIGs, it's all combat, it's that kind of stuff, I think are being hyperbolic, and also are more frustrated at the state of the game than it is frustrated at CIG's directions. We just have the resource rush. Resource rush, if it was working, has no combat. It has optional combat in it, but like most of it is just hauling or mining. Like those are the most effective uses of your time, and they're the best way of getting the most money. And it's really focused on that. And even CIG said, we added some combat stuff because we wanted to have people to give the option for people who wanted to have combat. But
honestly, I like option, that.
Not the focus.
Like, if you don't have a ship that can cargo haul, you can still go and shoot some people down and still get some points. That's a nice touch, because sometimes I just don't want a cargo haul. But yeah. I do agree with you. I think they focus on it. Do you believe that combat is not actually going to be everywhere in the game all the time in the future?
Yeah, no, I think there's going to be options, especially around certain places in the verse that aren't specifically combat related. It's just combat is always going to be part of this game. It's not the main focus of the game, but the way that CIG has sort of built this game, and they describe this game, is it's the Wild West in space. And while the Wild West isn't always take your guns out and shoot the bad guy, everyone has guns in the Wild West. You know, there's always a chance something bad will happen.
Even the freaking medical ships have guns on them.
Yeah, like, but I mean, that's sort of the sort of the vibe they were going for originally, was this idea that it's the wild frontier. It's the classic space frontier metaphor where everyone is out trying to make it. So they have guns for protection against wildlife, but CIG also it has already started this and wants to continue to move towards the environment itself, trying to kill.
All right, you gotta specify what you mean by wildlife. Are you going by Hurston's definition? Because that includes their own workers at that point.
That includes their own workers, yeah. I mean, yeah, all the definitions, but like, let's think about this. Star City or Stanton is the company town. You know, the classic company town where like the big fat cats with their like monocles and their top hats and their suits and, you know, walking around and be like, well, let me see here, sonny boy, you're working for my company now.
Sounds like concierge members.
You know, and you're sort of like picking up the scraps, but there's a little bit of like cyberpunk in there. But a lot of this stuff is still very Wild West, very frontier coded. And the Pyro is just straight up the frontier. It's just wild as all get out. Nyx is a little bit different. It's sort of like, for my friends who like Young Guns and other stuff like that, it's like that sort of thing. The Johnson County War and the Hatfields and McCoys. It's sort of like this. Yeah, on the veneer, there's peace, but underneath, there's like 5 people showing up at this dude's house and shooting him to death. Like, it's not like people are having gunfights in the streets, but like, there are posses that roam around and decide to take care of business, you know?
So do you think that when we come across a system like Castor or Terra, because Stanton is certainly a little more dangerous than those systems, do you think that they're going to have protected areas where people can basically be guaranteed there's not going to be a lot of danger? And that includes both from players who are dangerous, but also NPC pirates and scavengers that might attack you. Do you think that basically you'll be able to go in Terra and play the PvE or the, I don't want to say like private server kind of gameplay, but just a place where people can rest assured that they'll be able to mine or cargo haul in like 99.9% peace whenever they log in?
Yeah, especially Terra and Castor, like Castra, not Castor. 100%. I think that's the kind of point of those locations. They're supposed to be where you can just do whatever you want and not have any to deal with the problems. But they're going to be like lower rewards. They're going to be less stressful, that sort of thing. But yeah, 100%. I think they're still planning on doing that. It's just they want to still give the players who want that sort of mixed experience or more volatile experience their play space. One of the biggest problems we've had for the longest time is a lot of people complain like, oh, well, combat, you know, PvP and so on and so forth. Pirate players don't have anything to do. And they've never had anything to do other than attack other players. There's going to be NPC piracy in this game eventually, where you can like take on NPC pirates or take on NPC crew that aren't pirates, that are just like cargo haulers and steal their stuff and run away. And that's going to be the majority of piracy in the game in the future. But for now, if you want to do piracy, if you want to have Star Citizen Black Flag, it doesn't exist. Except for attacking other players, which pisses off other players.
Yeah, that's a big one. It's like you need to be able to have NPCs to prey on too.
And outlaws in general just don't have much of a gameplay. I'm a smuggler. That's my main gameplay loop. And I like high risk, you know, have to like keep my signature down, get stealthy, you know, get around checkpoints, go to places and make dangerous deals and stuff like that. But those locations don't exist. Like those gameplay things don't exist yet. So while, yes, I understand that people, including myself, who don't necessarily want to engage in combat all the time are frustrated, it's just the nature of the development right now that it's just not the focus. They just need to get other things out there and they want to like to go to that mixed crowd. I think they do that at a detriment sometimes because the PvP community, according to CIG's own metrics, is like 4 to 3% of the population. And people have always asked me when I say that, it's like, where's your source? CIG themselves. There was a famous Twitter post where, I forgot his name, but he's the guy who works on a lot of the gun balancing. There's a lot of the balancing. Zach Priest. Yeah, Zach. Zach reposted a poll that was done on Twitter by somebody else, which said, what kind of gameplay do you like participate in, PvP or PvE? And the PvP crowd had like 8% of the vote. Most of the people didn't want to do PvP. And Zach reposted it, said, this is actually higher than the actual numbers we have internally. Basically saying that the 8% was too high compared to what they know internally and people who participate. So they know themselves that PvP is like a tiny minority of the community. And yet they continue to build PvP-centric stuff because a lot of them are PvPers, so they like that. It's like, yeah, but then you got to build a PvP game.
Yeah, because they hired all the COD devs, remember?
Oh yeah, 100%. Did they actually? I don't even remember.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that's just a way of being like they hired people who like combat.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But I mean, it's like that's the thing is I'm not a quote unquote a self-described PvP player, but I definitely want it in the game. I definitely want the ability. I mean, that besides just shooting people, that also means you can salvage other ships. You can cargo haul, you can tractor beam people's hulls out of the way. Like there are a lot of things that I think need to be functional, or rather have functionality that depends on the ability to affect other players. But like you said, the features surrounding that aren't the priority right now. I think they're missing in not making that the priority. Squadron 42 is the priority, clearly. But it seems very, very hard to universally send that message that like these things are not the priority, but they are still part of the game's design.
They're fundamental.